Alright everybody, we are here once again doing archery, and I've got Lena here with me. I don't believe I have ever used Lena in any archery, although she has watched it from afar. Usually I use Luke, if you've paid attention to any of the videos in the past about the archery that I've done here, I've done it with a couple of the horses that were here for training. It's usually kind of an extra thing that I do. Horses are here, we'll be acclimating to all kinds of things, and one of those things just happens to be archery, which the owner may or may not care about, but you never know, might come in handy. If you're going to get your horse into archery, if you're going to get into archery and horseback archery, you're going to want to be able to communicate well with your horse and let them know that they should stick with you. It's a safe thing to be around, and so on and so forth. If your horse can't just stand around and hang out with you peacefully, I would work on that first. And there's lots of groundwork that can be done that you can keep control of your horse's feet and their mind, keep them with you. And even though right now I'm sort of a secondary thought, I became primary, but there's a lot of secondary thoughts times right now. She's out, she's looking over there, she's looking way over there, so just ask her back, hey. And so if you can get something like this, then you're going to have better luck than if you can't, if you've got a horse that is distracted. Yes, Lena, how can I help you? Oh, right, scratches. If you can get your horse to pay attention to you the most, then that's the best. Because you have to essentially be more important than what you're about to do, which is to shoot an arrow from a bow. So groundwork is really, really important, because there's going to be, she's probably going to, I got it. Have I got it? I don't have it. There's probably going to be a case of where she might leave, or your horse might leave. Oh, we're getting better. And you don't want them to. You want them to sort of stick with you. So having your groundwork in place where you can, tell them where to go, or tell them to at least stick beside you, is best. And so even something like this, even just sort of scratching and keeping her attention, mostly on me. She's looking over there now, but to where I might be, important. So, okay, so let's get started. I'm going to show you guys again really quickly the equipment that I'm using on the horse. Simple rope halter. I prefer a rope halter over a nylon or leather one because they don't break, and they're light. No metal clips or clasps or anything like that to bump against their bones. So if anything does happen and I need to get their attention, I'm doing, well, hopefully less harm, or than I would if there's something sort of bouncing against her that was metal. I prefer not to. To each his own, though. So I'm just using a basic rope with a rope halter. As for my archery equipment, I'll just ask Lena to stand around. Hopefully she will. I have a very basic bow, and I recommend, if you're going to get into archery, I've done a video about this, but I'll cover it briefly. But I really highly recommend just getting one of these basic, and they're cheap, plastic sort of bows, not the kids ones, but a decent one that if something goes wrong, you can just toss it on the ground. You don't have to worry about it getting scratched, getting dirt all over it. None of that is of a concern. If a horse steps on it and breaks it, who cares? If you happen to fire the bow with no arrow in it for some reason, which you should never do with a normal bow, you're not going to be worried about anything bad happening. So I can kind of do this with this bow, and she's not getting too concerned. Lena and I have done a lot of work together, so hopefully she's at least partially trusting of me when I go about introducing something brand new to her, right? But you'd never do this with a normal bow. It wouldn't be good for it. My arrows are simple, just very small spine, narrow, I guess, or not very big, and then just a typical fletching. Nothing exciting. Not the really plasticky kind. These these are plastic, but they at least break apart. They're not just one long thing, but it doesn't really matter. You're really just practicing right now. Making sure that you know, you use a bow that is easy to handle. If you're good at archery and you want to use a high weight bow, you can, obviously. But to be honest, in the beginning, when you really don't want to have to concentrate on your strength or your form and all that kind of stuff, you just want to get your horse used to things, just get a lightweight bow. It's so much easier. It really, really is. You can get extra little bits for it. These little soft pieces here for your fingers if you find that you know, doing archery in the beginning kind of hurts your fingers and stuff. They're just handy things, good for beginners, good for intermediates or advanced too, I feel. So, but just ideas. So anyways, we've got, you can't tell because Lena's in the way, so I'm going to just ask her to back up a little. And we're going to see behind her, come on, back up a little more. We've got 2 targets. Now my first target, there, is sort of a new concoction that we've had some ideas. We went to the dollar store, picked up some cheap $2 targets kind of thing that you usually just throw like those Velcro balls and little darts at. Anyways, they work great for archery. And there's a piece of, watch out, there's a piece of styrofoam behind it, so that one there. Now I've got it on 2 of my posts that I've made. I've done a video how to make them. They're very, very easy, and you can use them for all kinds of things. I've got a pole on top, and the target itself is hanging. Now I've got it very close to the post, so it can't spin, but usually I would have it a little wider so that it can actually spin and move, and when I take a shot, I've got to take a next shot, and it'll be harder because it'll be moving. So anyways, ideas. The other one is just a basic stationary right there. Just a basic stationary target you can buy in our part of the world. We buy it at a place called Canadian Tire. It's just a hardware slash automotive slash, I don't even know, it's got everything kind of place, and it's just on top of a barrel. It's a lightweight bow, so I'm likely not to hit the target and knock the target off of the barrel, I think. But really we just want to shoot a few arrows and just to see how Lena does. So everything's prepared. I've got my equipment, I'm ready. I don't need any, you might want to get protective gear for your hands or your forearm in case you have the string kind of slide along there. It kind of hurts. So you're probably already into archery a little bit by now if you're watching this, because we're really talking about getting the horse ready. She's quite calm, there's nothing distracting, weird going on. Set things up for the best success that you can, and you know, hopefully it'll happen. So what we want to do in all cases of introducing danger to horses is place us in between the thing that's likely to worry them and them. So I will have Lena behind me when I shoot, but over time I will try to shoot from over top of her back, from behind her, from right in front of her, to have her beside me, and all those kinds of things. Today's just a real quick introductory thing. With all of that set up, and I know I've accentuated this, the rest of this is going to be easy because the setup is the hard part, making sure everything's going to go well. And then from here, it's just arrows. So, I've already done a little bit of groundwork with her, but if you feel like your horse isn't ready to hang out with you, get them moving around, make sure that they can stand still and hang out with you peacefully and quietly. It's very, very important to set this up right from the get-go, because the sound that this makes and the sound that the arrow makes hitting the target bothers them. So let's see how this goes. I've never done it with her, so hopefully you're ready, Lena. Now we got to get you over here and back to there. Now you guys are going to want to see her reaction, so I'll make sure that she's quite in frame. She looks like she is. I am not going to tie her. I am not going to hold her tight. I'm going to allow her to move around if she wants to, but not a lot. But all I'm going to do is place this over my arm. And if I feel her move, yeah, if I feel her move, I'm just going to do that so I can grab it. But mostly, it'll be here. So let's take a couple shots and see what happens. Ready? I don't think this could have been any less anticlimactic. So she's doing really well. We can move up to the next step, which is to go up beside her. So I'll be a little closer. There. Now, when your horse does get worried and they don't leave you, reward them. Tell them it's okay. Pet them. You don't need to smack them or pat them. Just light encouragements, tips of your fingers. Just say thanks for sticking around. You know, because it's a little bit worrisome. It's brand new. I'm gonna grab a few arrows this time. I know how she's gonna react, but I want to do one after another to get her a little bit more used to me not taking a quick break, I guess you could say. So, it's a fly near me. Get it, Lena. Good girl. Yeah. And so while she hasn't reacted poorly at all, she has reacted. And a little bit of it wasn't that good, but a lot of it was good. So that's a highly successful sort of training session. Let's go see how good I did, how well I did. Not bad for not really concentrating. Anyhow, the point of this video really is that if everything is kind of set up and you've got a quiet horse, this kind of thing can be very successful. If you're interested in getting into horseback archery, it can be very, very easy. But the setup is important. So, the next horse I'll try this with is Gracie, so stay tuned. I'll do that in a different video. But as you can see, Lena's done really, really well. My next step to do this is to do it while moving. And then the next one is to do it while on her back. So I'll do those in a part 2 and a part 3. So stay tuned. I think I did okay for shooting. It's not too bad. So you can see this set up a little bit closer. It's just a post or a bar on top of the 2 posts. This thing's hanging. It's just a dollar store target. Kind of cool. And a good piece of foam behind it that I happened to find is left here by the previous owner. This is just a normal target. So I'm going to continue doing this today and see how I can get her just used to me just standing around. But the next video, we'll work on, come on Lena. We'll work on walking around so that she's moving, because a lot of horses can stand for stuff when they're standing, but not when they're moving or being ridden. That's even worse. And so the riding part also is where you do it at a standstill and then you get moving. And hopefully it all goes well. Right? Okay, let's leave it at that. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you guys again very soon. Right?